as Red Bull turns into the Game of Thrones. Who will arise as the driver of dragons?
Driver of dragons. It gives you wings.
Or Game of Thrones.
That's the Gamers 2 podcast, your weekly roundup of news and commentary related to the video game industry and anything else that might pique our interest.
Peek 'em.
Peak? Yeah. What is going on today? Did you watch State of the Union?
What do you think?
No. I didn't either. Okay. What other exciting things happened today or this week? That was it. All right.
Is that an exciting thing that happened this week? Is
I don't
the State
know.
of the Union exciting?
It definitely is not. Exciting.
There's very few times I've watched the State of the Union in the history of my life.
I've watched it a few times.
I've watched it probably less than a handful.
It's
and usually it's like if I know there's going to be something I'm curious about.
Yeah.
And in this case, no. No.
I don't know. It's like watching a fucking mummy talk.
It's not even just that. Like, that is a problem. But, like, I never enjoy I want to say it's like the Grammys in a way, right? But, like, and just say anything and you're going to get a standing ovation.
Yeah. I miss the days.
Kraft mac and cheese is the best mac and cheese. That's just.
I miss the days of like presidents who were like the days of good oration, like good speeches, charismatic speakers. We haven't had one in a while. I think the last like one that was Obama was pretty good at giving speeches, I think.
Sometimes, yeah.
But we haven't like
I think a lot of it for him really depended on subject matter.
Yeah, but he was like good at delivering speeches.
Yeah, he had
and,
good
like
delivery.
he had some charisma to him.
Right. I guess for me it's like the passion part of it that also falls into charisma.
Yeah.
Depended on what the matter was.
Yeah. Like I watch I'll see like, like FDR's speech, his Pearl Harbor speech or like
oh yeah. Well,
like Churchill or like whatever. It's like those are like crazy speeches that give you goosebumps,
Well, I agree with you. I also need to remind you that Churchill's not our leader.
I know, it's true. That's what I'm saying. Just good speeches though.
There also might be good speeches if I could speak another language.
Yeah. Maybe. That's a good point.
Like maybe some people that give it in other languages give really good speeches. Like a really like it's think about it. It's like listening to a Spanish soccer announcer.
Oh yeah,
they're way more it sounds way more impassioned, but I assume they're saying kind of the same thing. Like goal went in, but it's like if a goal goes in, you're gonna hear about it for about 35 seconds.
Yeah,
in one continuous breath. It's like
it's a skill set.
Now, if they just yelled, "It's the State of the Union," Union, like it just
that'd be impressive. All right. In case you didn't watch State of the Union, you might have played a new video game.
Speaking of the State of the Union, the first game is The Outlast Trials for PC, PlayStation, and Xbox.
Okay, torture and death.
Followed by WWE 2K24 for PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. So if you ever wanted to take a president off the top of a cage match,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure
a little Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the character creator will allow you to do all the national conventions as they start doing it, to have all their committees. You just see who wins by putting them in the simulator.
There you go.
As Dusk Falls for the PlayStation. Snufkin Melody of Moomin Valley for the PC, PlayStation, Switch, and Xbox. And Unicorn Overlord for the PC, PlayStation, Xbox. Got good reviews.
Really?
Really good reviews.
What is it even about?
It's a tactical RPG, think Fire Emblem-esque.
Okay.
I believe, would be the Fire Emblem Octopath Traveler, something along those lines, like that type of tactical JRPG style.
Okay.
Put it this way, I downloaded the demo to my Switch because I have a demo. So I was like,
wow,
perfect.
Rarity.
I know, but I was like, hey, I've wanted to enjoy some of these, but every time I do, like, try to enjoy them, I realize that they're dating sims. I'm like, disappointment. So I was like, all right, I know the way that I really want to do this is to get Advanced Wars rebooted, but I don't want to pay $60. So
I miss the days of demos.
Yeah, I went and looked at the Nintendo Switch page. I was like, how much does it cost? And they like download a demo, and I was like, done. Easy.
Wild.
Anyway, you want to talk about Apple and Epic?
Ugh, no.
Perfect. I will then. Number 1. Apple has blocked Epic's bid to launch Epic Game Store and Fortnite on iOS devices by disabling Epic's developer account called Epic Games Sweden AB, which Apple had approved a couple months earlier. Epic says the move is, quote, a serious violation of the DMA, Digital Markets Act, and shows Apple has no intention of allowing true competition on iOS devices, end quote. In an email to Epic CEO Tim Sweeney, Apple executive Phil Schiller said, quote, your colorful criticism of our DMA compliance plan, coupled with Epic past practice of intentionally violating contractual provisions with which it disagrees, strongly suggests that Epic Sweden does not intend to follow the rules, end quote. Schiller asked Epic to provide written assurance that it is acting in good faith and Epic will honor its commitments. He concluded, quote, please tell us why we should trust Epic this time, end quote. There was further back and forth, which went as you would expect. On Thursday, March 7th, EU antitrust regulators have asked Apple for, quote, further explanations, end quote, on why it is blocking Epic Games from launching its own app on App Store on iOS. From today, Epic Games announced on its website today that Apple, quote, has told us and committed to the European Commission that they will reinstate our developer account, end quote. Because I bet they were met with something along the lines of, then you can leave our entire countries.
Yeah. The European Committee
you're gonna fuck
gave
around.
them a stern talking to.
You're gonna fuck around and find out.
Apple. Doing Apple things.
They really do.
They'd be doing them Apple things.
They be appling. I'm not horribly surprised at any of this.
Oh no, it's
you're just gonna watch billionaires throw money at each other to fight.
Yep.
It.
How we all expected it to go.
Yep.
I got the old message on my iPhone today that my battery was, how did they say it? Severely deteriorated.
I wish you could respond to that message and be like, well, you did it.
I'd be like, oh, yeah, I know. Tell me about it. It was like, please consult with a certified Apple.
With a guy that spent $3,000 to tell you how to buy a new iPhone.
Yeah. I immediately was like, I don't think I will. Number 2, a cohort of industry professionals has unveiled a new game publisher, Rocket Games, as in Rock It Games. The company aims to work with independent game makers and IP holders to provide consumers with indie and retro titles. Rocket Games says that it will give developers more agency over their games via more input in marketing, PR, and social media. Rocket's first releases are the board game Space Invaders Deck Commander by Sickhead Games and Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion HD renovation developed by Albino Moose Games.
Such a good name.
There's a few good names in there.
Something about albino, like if you saw an albino moose,
I can't imagine.
I shit my pants.
I saw an albino deer once and it was quite unsettling.
That'd be weird.
Yeah, it was very unsettling.
I don't really know.
Full albino.
I don't know what to do with that information.
White with red eyes.
Oh, that's the worst part about the whole albino thing. You know what I mean? Like, It's the fucking red eyes. It's just
It's just weird.
it's terrifying.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed.
I'm just thinking of it like I think that we probably did have an albino moose in like Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, that was probably
Like the
big
rare
one.
the rare animals. And if rockets alone is not going to confuse enough people.
Yeah. Thanks for that one. They probably won't exist in a little bit anyways.
Oh God, don't say that. Oh, damn it. I couldn't do the transition I wanted. I was going to say, speak of things that don't exist anymore. Anyway, let's talk about Microsoft. Microsoft held an Xbox partner preview with reveals, launches, and a showcase of games planned for 2024. Among the newer third-party games shown was Inverge Studios' Creatures of Ava. The non-violent title will have players take on the role of a creature saver on a distant planet. Its planned release window is 2024, so the window is a whole year.
That seems to be the trend these days.
Yeah, that's not a window, people. That is that we call those years. Not all new games shown during the presentation had a release date or year, such as Riff Raff Games' Sleight of Hand, which is described as a hard-boiled third-person stealth sim. Listen, I know hard-boiled hasn't been used to describe anything since the 70s.
I hope it's quite literally a hard-boiled egg.
My Friend Pedro style?
Yeah.
Like you're just Humpty Dumpty, but a hard-boiled egg?
Yeah.
What if your name is Humpty?
More power to him.
And you like roll over crates?
It sounds like it'd be noisy.
Sim? No, you're an egg, so it just rolls.
Okay.
Just cover yourself in like rubber or something. I don't know.
An egg, a hard-boiled egg without its shell?
When you die, you get cut in half and just see the yellow in the...
Yeah.
You're
So like a soft-boiled egg.
Yeah, if you're a runny one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your entire thing is to get hard-boiled. What are
we
doing?
We just made a game.
I mean, we make a lot of games. Ubisoft, call us. We'll save you. So the game's about an egg. His entire mission is to get warm. Some other new titles revealed during the Xbox partner preview include The Alters from 11-Bit Studios with no release date. I'm not going to even begin to make so many jokes about that potential.
The Alters?
Yeah. Horror survival?
In a church?
Running away from?
Well, I see we're on the same page here.
Frostpunk 2, also from 11-Bit Studios, coming July 25th, 2024. Monster Jam Showdown, sometime this year. The Sinking City 2 from Frogware, coming sometime in 2025. The presentation also revealed new content planned for recently launched games. Persona 3 Reload will receive its DLC episode Aegis this September. Roblox received new content in Griefville Survive the Nightmare, which features the horror movie character Chucky. Meanwhile, Game World launched Stalker Legends of the Zone trilogy for Xbox Series X and S systems. The Xbox partner preview also unveiled that the MMO Final Fantasy XIV would be released on March 21st.
Cool beans.
Hey, listen, a lot more things to look forward to.
Yeah. More than anything Sony's done. Oh.
Whew, Helldivers.
Yeah, that's true. Helldivers
Might be more popular than every one of those except Final Fantasy.
All right. Coming in here with facts.
Sorry.
That's got updates coming too.
Yeah, mechs are out.
Yeah.
The planet has been liberated. Mechs are here, baby. I like how they did it. I like that they're like, hey, all of you work together to liberate this planet and we'll give you some mechs.
Yeah, that's a cool
And
idea.
I'm sure there's going to be like, okay, now liberate this planet and give you some vehicles. Like,
Yeah.
They're just going to... It's a good way to...
little story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good way
I
to
like
keep
it.
people playing to earn a thing to then keep going. Yeah.
Yeah. It's good.
It's a good formula.
All right, number 4. Warner Bros. Discovery is shutting down its Rooster Teeth division. The closure of the gaming... Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought
With
I
all
should
due
play
respect,
taps at this
yeah.
time.
Let's all pay our respects. They did do good service and for a while there.
It looks more like a puma.
What looks more like oh. The closure of the gaming and entertainment brand will result in layoffs for 150 full-time employees, with additional contractors and content creators losing their employment. Variety obtained a memo sent to staff earlier by Rooster Teeth general manager Jordan Levin, who attributed the closure to, quote, challenges facing digital media resulting from fundamental shifts in consumer behavior and monetization across platforms, advertising, and patronage, end quote. Rooster Teeth started 21 years ago with the creation of Red vs. Blue, a comedic machinima web series made using Halo. Last year, Rooster Teeth announced that the upcoming 19th season of Red vs. Blue would also be its last. The company branched out well beyond Red vs. Blue over the years, producing the animated series Ruby, another animated series featuring Michael B. Jordan called Gen Lock, and a variety of podcasts, YouTube channels, film, and game projects, among other works. It was acquired by Media Network Fullscreen in 2014, and a chain of media consolidation eventually made it a part of Warner Bros. Discovery in 2022. Variety reports that Rooster Teeth has been running at a loss for at least 10 years. Rooster Teeth was the subject of a handful of scandals in recent years, with a pair of on-camera personalities fired after being accused of grooming fans, and a former employee describing a culture of harassment and crunch over her 9 years with the outfit. Warner Bros. Discovery's The Roost podcast network is not being impacted by the Rooster Teeth closure, and the company is continuing a search for a buyer for that property.
I'm going to clarify the last point a little bit. It is being impacted because people are like no longer working on those things.
Mm-hmm.
But like the product itself is still trying to be sold as a separate entity.
Yeah.
But like there are going to be podcast producers and stuff losing their jobs.
Yeah. All right.
So the entity itself might not be.
Mm-hmm.
07's in chat.
Yeah. What do you think? Got any strong feelings?
Strong feelings? Not anymore.
It's kind of been a long time.
It's
like
21 years is a hell of a run.
Yeah.
For something that after 2017, for like me personally, after 2017, I was like surprised it was still able to function. And I arbitrarily am picking that year, but I'm thinking back to, I think it was 2015. Oh boy, do I not know if this timeline is right. When I 15, 14, when I went to California for the Let's Play Live.
Yes.
Not the very first one they ever did. Technically, the very first one they ever did was just Achievement Hunter, and that was still in Austin. The very first one they did after they acquired Kind of Funny, Creatures, Funhouse. Who else was still there? Cowchop. Like every one of the people that they acquired and like signed as YouTube channels were all still together.
Yeah.
Colin was still at Kind of Funny. Everybody was at Funhouse. Everybody was still at Achievement Hunter. Everybody but Ray, maybe, actually? Did Ray leave by that point?
I think Ray was gone by that point.
I think he was. I don't remember.
I feel like Ray left well before that, but I don't know.
He was at the first Let's Play Live.
Okay.
When they were still Achievement Hunter. And that's why I think he did the LA one, and then I think he was gone after that, but I'm not positive about that. But either way, that experience was awesome. I got to yell at Greg Miller. I think I've told that story before.
Mm-hmm.
That I yelled at him about camping during the Hunger Games survival game that they were playing. Got to yell at him, and him and I stood up and challenged each other. Then I met him, 2 years later or whatever, when we were at PAX.
Mm-hmm.
Greg's a nice guy. I mean, he's insane on Twitter and everything, but like he's a nice person. I don't really have any true ill will towards him. And I don't know how really affected they are. I don't know what their status is in this. If they've become fully independent.
I think they're
like,
fully independent and have been for a bit.
Which might be true. It sounds right because I think when they signed, I think they then eventually backed out of it or like always operated independently while still being a part of it type of thing. But I don't know. Yeah, like now that the Let's Play is not a thing as much as it was and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Met Ray when he was still there, then met Ray again when he was independent. There's a lot of formidable years for me that were in that early Red versus Blue, not a Pumas. Oh God, whatever your views are on Joel playing Caboose and doing the whole petting the rabbit and it going into the soup can is probably one of my favorite Red versus Blue bits. I was just petting the rabbit and it went into the soup can, and now I don't have a hand. It's like. It's just that entire episode is great. The early Red versus Blue before they like switched animation styles and stopped doing like machinima and started doing like an actual animated thing are my more preferred style things. I know Ruby took off, but it wasn't ever my thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I was a big
What's this mean for Funhouse?
Done.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't think about that part of it.
Yep. That's the part that hurts the most. Is
have they
as
made
many people as they've already left, like of the core. Adam is an issue. There's no real, around that. Bruce left. Lawrence left. James is still there. Elise is still there. I mean, and then there's all the new people that came on afterwards: Jacob, Ryan, Omar. Don or Dan, both of them. Charlotte. I'm gonna fucking forget the other guy's name. But all of them being there, they're too creative to have whatever, But I don't think that they can fundamentally survive as a channel on their own because I just don't know.
That bubble's kind of burst.
You'd have to do like all individual channels and do collab stuff. You could do it that way, but I don't know that you can do a team channel and survive.
No, because like that bubble bursts, like you don't get the revenue from YouTube anymore. So.
Joel has a really good Medium article.
I saw you post that or repost it. I pulled it up to read it and then I didn't have time. So
yeah, Joel Rubin, shout out Joel. You're a beautiful boy. I believe I'm quoting from the Medium article. I believe he was employee number 40 at Machinima in 2010. By the end of the year, they had over 100.
Yeah,
because they expanded overnight, essentially. But he's been around and seen shit and knows how it goes down and everything.
Yeah,
and he has a whole article of like saving the online content industry, not streaming and stuff like that, but like actual online curated content, like kind of how Dropout has Dimension 20 and they have all these other shows, but like they broke away from College Humor and are now their own thing. They're not being managed by some or even owned or invested in by some.
So the equivalent of like an indie studio, like that's
right. Like basically we need to not allow the old TV hack. What was the line he used that would not be ran by somebody who was an intern at MGM during the Carter administration.
That's good.
It was so good line, such a good line. But like having those TV people that are like, oh, it just does this and you work it this way. If a bunch of amateurs figured out how to make it profitable, we'll let the big kids take over now. Like we'll buy you and tell you what you should have done. And that's like you don't understand how this works.
Yeah, I'd be curious to read it because I don't know how. It's hard to comprehend a way that you'd be able to like make something like that sustainable and profitable.
I think there is. I think Dropout's the version of it. Patreon was always a good way to do it because like Colin's technically doing it.
Yeah, but like I feel like there's like a scale issue. I think with Patreon,
there's a scale issue, but I mean like Patreon. Think Jom ended up getting like Jom started with Patreon.
That's a good.
Then
point.
they ended up getting investors, but they got investors that and took money from specifically people that said, "You just keep doing what you do. We just want to help you do it type of thing instead of it's ours now.
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely ways to do it. I mean, Kind of Funny does it. Like there are examples of online content groups that are doing it and not being fucked over by old, what I call old media, but it's not. I guess it's not really old media. It's just like old heads in media or media. It's an entirely different content. You don't hire somebody from the newspaper to run your TV show.
Yeah,
because they're just two different things.
Yeah,
you shouldn't hire somebody from TV to run your web content because they're two fully different things.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I was an Achievement Hunter fan early, and then I was an Inside Gaming fan mainly. I was actually no. Then I should switch that around. I was an Inside Gaming and Machinima Respawn fan first.
Yeah.
Sark, Hutch, Nanners, APL, Adam, Bruce, Lawrence, James, Joel, Kale, Danovic. If I can fucking just list people, Ricky. And having the privilege to meet all of them when they were at Machinima multiple times, Bruce to remember me. He's not gonna remember me anymore. But like at PAXs and stuff was so cool. Then when they decide to leave Machinima right as like the ship is starting to sink, and they're like, we got to get out after Sark's left and Hutch has left and Nanner's left and APL, like all those guys leave, and then they're the last bastion of people I watch, and they're like, we also need to leave. And it's like, well, what do we do? Well, Rooster Teeth is a home for them. So that felt good. Like, okay, company that has a similar kind of group in Achievement Hunter, that makes sense. Like you guys have made this content before.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of understand how to do it. And then from my understanding, it was hell. I don't know all the background stories, but for a lot of them, you hear like the early stuff in Rooster Teeth was an absolute shit show and hellish workscape. And I'm like, I don't know what happened. But Funhouse was my jam. They were my thing. They were my dudes. They were my guys. I still, to this day, quote so many out of context videos from either that or Sark, and Matt just stares at me like, I don't know why the fuck you remember that.
Yeah. The
hates me for my fucking James Willems, Harrison Ford impression.
That belongs in a museum. No, the encyclopedic knowledge of being like that one clip, and then you'll go to the exact episode and like
or I'll have to go through like a fan montage to find it because I'm never gonna be able to find that exact one, but I know where they referenced it. I mean there's so many. I mean, Bored as Hell was such a good series. The Coconut gods are smiling on me. So like just having Bruce completely fucking broken. There's just so many good memories out of it that I don't feel. I don't know. Not sad that it's over. Happy it happened type of thing.
It's wild seeing. It's wild being old enough to where we're seeing life cycles of things.
Yeah.
It's a weird feeling.
So I don't really know if I answered your question about any strong feelings, but
close enough.
It's like weird.
It is. It is weird.
Because initially, it's the cynic in me and everything goes, we saw this coming.
Yeah.
We were talking about it earlier, where it's like, I remember looking at their last Extra Life stream. I think it was their last one.
Probably.
And, well, it is now. Or I guess they had a... Funhouse did a stream a couple days ago, like 2-hour one, just kind of like answering questions. I believe that was after the RT one that they did, where they were answering questions. And somewhere in there, the future of like Extra Life streams got announced or like discussed. And I can't remember if Jack said like, we'll figure it out or something, but I'm not going to spit words.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe that their last one, I think I either saw an image or something, and I think I screenshotted and sent it to you. And it was only above like 200,000. I think it was still under 300,000 maybe. But it was in the way that by that point, normally they were over 1 million. And it was just like, man, you guys like, I don't know what your numbers are, but you had to have lost so much of an audience that I don't know how you keep going.
They don't. That's the answer.
Like, and the answer is they don't.
It's weird. For me, it's weird seeing the life cycle of like the whole industry as well, because like that stuff like
MCNs,
yeah, they just don't exist.
right? I mean,
anymore.
when full screen essentially died in 2021, I think is when they died. When they died, they were the last like MCN last big MCN that like existed.
It's just bizarre. It's like
and it's going to start happening here soon, I think, with media outlets.
Yeah,
I think they're next.
I would guess that that's the case.
Like in 5 years, don't be surprised if you see IGN shutter.
Yeah, IGN I think is on that tipping point, especially with the
Kotaku.
Yeah, well, it's already started to happen.
Mm-hmm. Some of them have already started going down.
Yeah, there's a few and then you have like, I think it's interesting. I don't know, like I don't know how I feel about this like movement in these situations. Like there's some of these places that shut down, and then their more reputable, well-known names have like started doing their own like smaller form factor like newsletter or something like that. And
Bruce and Lauren still stream Inside Games.
Yeah, and it's like
they rebuilt the show that they created as the two of them.
Yeah, so it's like it's weird. It's just like, I don't know. I have a hard time coming to grips with that, experiencing that life cycle.
Yeah,
of watching something you enjoy grow and bloom and turning to this awesome thing, and then just wither and die, and then like you see the seeds again,
right?
Of like
literally ashes of a phoenix.
Yeah,
they're most notable, or like whatever, start to revive themselves in their own pocket with like people that they trust to do their content well. Like could IGN die? Yes, but will Beyond die? Probably not.
Yeah.
Would Unlock die? Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
Because those guys hopefully would take that and run with it, and like McCaffrey would still keep doing his thing. Scoville would keep doing their thing. Like
Beyond's a good example, because like Beyond birthed P.S. I Love You.
Yep.
It birthed I don't know what Colin's show is called now.
Sacred Symbols. That's gonna take me a fucking. I almost said Push Square. I was like, that's an entire fucking magazine.
Yeah. So it's like, that's a good example. You see these like seeds, and that birth these like pretty substantial podcasts around the exact same subject,
right? And just without, in theory, like without corporate overhead.
Yeah. And then we're kind of seeing that now with the Machinima and Funhouse people, with Lawrence and Bruce doing their thing, and like it's just kind of morphed a little bit for a lot of them, and they're older anyway, so like that's kind of like that might be the pace that they want to keep now.
Right. I just wonder if it's interesting because there's a lot of that content that like Lawrence and Bruce are doing that and streaming.
Yeah.
Could James and Elise easily do something along those lines? Yes. They are unbelievably creative. They've streamed before. They've streamed with them. Like they've got the whole thing. They've got people that they could stream with.
Yep.
That whole team could turn into streamers, which is like insane and whatever. But I feel like edited content like that landscape pivoted years ago. Because now streaming is so massive that even if unless you're streaming your recording of the video and then getting it edited afterwards to then post to YouTube, you're not. I don't know. It's like you're missing something by not just being live all the time.
Yeah, I mean, like the expectations changed, and then the availability of tools changed.
Yes, massively.
Because like when these things became popular, editing tools weren't easily accessible.
Yeah, you were down to one of three things: Sony Vegas,
Yeah.
Premiere,
Hmm.
and Final Cut were like the three.
Yeah. And now you could watch a stream of Bruce, for example, and you could be bored and be like, I like that moment. And take his VOD and cut it up.
Yeah, not even take
And
the vibe, but you can do clips native in Twitch. Like
exactly. Like it's so accessible now that like your fans can do your edits for you.
right.
And then it becomes a part of the community, like a community aspect as well. So it's like that technology, I think, kind of killed the idea of needing a professional editor.
Right, and then it's a mix because like
And
Funhouse has talked about this before when they've discussed content lengths and stuff like that
yeah,
too. Of like,
and streamers. I mean, I remember when Bruce brought it up with, I think it was Bruce or maybe it was Ray or someone. Someone was complaining about, not complaining, but they were discussing posting their videos to YouTube and editing them and stuff. And it's like, I don't know if it's worth the money that it'll cost. Like,
it might have been Ray initially.
mm-hmm.
Bruce might have that same thought because I think a lot of them do that, especially that came from that side of things and knew what they knew like what they wanted to put into it.
Yeah.
But I think Ray had a massive realization that, bro, you don't need to edit it if you don't want to.
Yeah.
Use it as a VOD channel. Like that's where we just want to go like rewatch things or whatever. And ever since, I would be very curious. Do I have my phone? Because Ray famously ignored his YouTube channel. Like he would use it to throw some stuff there, but he just didn't care because he was getting, I don't know if he ever actually like said the number, but I believe he was getting like sub $10 a month from putting stuff on YouTube. So he's like, it just doesn't matter. Like, there's no point. Like,
yeah, I mean he makes good money streaming and with his merchandise company. So like,
right, like
why bother?
I'll throw things up over there, but there's no point to me like putting in a ton of effort over here. And I think it was I'm gonna credit Tina with it. I hope I'm right. I believe it was Tina said like you should try like even if you don't want to do it, let us put more effort into your YouTube.
Yeah.
Whether it's me or he has his editor Light that does like the edits for the I think weekly on Fridays they have like a highlighted of a stream where it's just, it's the highlights, or they'll have like when Yakuza was coming around, the new one, they put up the highlights from the last one. So it's like, oh, hey, before we're going to start playing this next week, here's a 2-hour video of all the highlights from all the Like a Dragon streams that we did when that came out. And it's like, okay, cool. I think Glasses does his thumbnails, and his thumbnails are awesome now. They're usually like him characterized as somebody in the game or whatever. Like I think he was Isaac when they did Dead Space, and it just all those things like that. But he is now up to 573 subscribers on YouTube. He has super chats enabled and subscriptions enabled on YouTube, so you can pay to do that. He's over 200 million views.
That's crazy.
He has a shorts channel that he lets others do. He has an Instagram that he lets others do. He has TikTok, same thing. Other people do it. Usually all those people where he's like, I don't really know what to post on there, but like if you guys want to throw stuff, go for it. I don't care. But yeah, it's ever since he did that, like you're seeing those market ones, like that's him talking to a grandmother playing a cashier at a supermarket. You're like, yeah, that makes sense. That alone was uploaded a day ago. It's got 52,000 views.
Yeah.
Like there are ways to do it. And I think that some people do it better than others. I think he's probably the prime example of maybe the most successful version of it for like coming, well, not the most successful version of it, but probably is actually from Rooster Teeth's side of things. But to be like, some people want long form. So he just throws the VODs there when they're done, puts like a border around it, labels it with whatever it is, like stream VOD, there, gone. Oh, here's a highlight one. It's not the full stream, but it's a cut up version of that. And then there's shorts, which you could do that are even shorter. There's, you're going to get fan clips that are maybe 5 minutes or whatever. But like those, there's so many different ways to cut content that if you have somebody to do it, makes sense. But that was always like a Funhouse discussion was our audience is older. So there was always a mix of things like they might have more time to sit down and watch things, but longer videos don't do well.
Yeah.
And then this, and then this, and so there was always this them trying to fight the algorithm with also what people wanted, and it was always the whole thing. It's like, I do wonder if you guys were all kind of individualized, if it would still work.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's
I'm sure it's something that we will revisit in the future.
yeah, or whatever ends up like kind of happening. Because I mean, remember they killed Achievement Hunter not too long ago either.
Yeah, that's true.
In an attempt to do something. I don't know what's going to come of that. So, anyway, let's move on. Number 5, Capcom has announced it is increasing all employees' salaries in the coming financial year. The Japanese publisher said that it plans to raise pay by an average of over 5% in fiscal year 2024. It's also making a big increase to starting salaries for new graduate hires in fiscal year 2025, raising their base pay from $1,600 a month to $2,000 a month, an increase of 28%. In conjunction with this pay increase for new starters, all current employees, including any new hires in fiscal year 2024, will also receive a one-time additional payment. The publisher said this is part of an ongoing human resources investment strategy and efforts to invest in people. Since 2022, this strategy has included an average increase of 30% to workers' base salaries, the introduction of a bonus system linked to company performance, and a new employee stock-based compensation system. In its most recent financial results, Capcom reported it continued to enjoy a successful year with net sales up 33% to $723 million. So we increased worker salaries by 30% and still made 33% more.
Yeah.
Increase.
IKEA did that.
It's like,
I think a decade or 2 decades ago, they did the CEO's like company wasn't doing well, so the CEO's like, I'm gonna pay my employees more, and it worked. Like
I couldn't believe it.
All of a sudden the company started doing amazing. And they're like, "What'd you change?" He's like, "I paid my employees more."
Weird, right?
Yeah.
Weird.
Bizarre.
It is always hysterical whenever somebody's like, so how do we fix the problem? You pay me a lot more money.
Yeah.
Well, I can't really do that. Well, I got bad news.
Well, I'm kind of doing this, going through that dance at work where I'm like, I feel like I'm underpaid. And it's not like, it's like underpaid, like, I don't want to put in the maximum amount of effort because I feel like I'm not being compensated for that.
Right.
Whereas they were like, oh, we're going to pay you, X amount of money more. I'm going to be like, I'm going to bust my ass.
Yeah, there's always a I will make sacrifice if money number equals certain number.
Yeah.
But there's also like there's 100%, which is maximum effort.
Yeah.
And then there's 120%, which is maximum effort.
Mm-hmm.
There's 100% maximum effort, which means the job is done.
Yeah.
There's 120% maximum effort, which means the job is done and I fucking made sure of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, doing the 120 is not, I mean, if the company doesn't notice, doesn't care, doesn't say anything, doesn't, whatever, then it's like,
that's not worth mine.
I'm just going to do the job and I'm going to leave at 5. I'll see you later.
Yep. All right, number 6.
I could go into so much more about that. Mainly our old job.
Yeah.
Oh,
the worst.
Being fucking managers without being managers.
Classic.
More trusted than all the managers, which is the funniest part of it.
Weird dynamic.
I just like the idea of just like sitting in a meeting and being like, "This is a weird dynamic, man." And everybody be like, "What are you talking about?" Like,
nothing.
Yeah, the fact that you don't understand is, there you go, pretty fucking weird dynamic, isn't it? Isn't it weird that I know more than you? Why aren't you doing your job? Why am I doing your job?
I mean, the joke's on us because they were getting paid more than us. So
100%.
We were doing all the work.
Yeah. I'll still never forgive you for dropping that fucking table on my shoulder. I was telling somebody about that story the other day. They're like, "How are you gonna?" I can't remember what we were doing. Maybe like moving. Must have been moving something heavy, and I was like, "Yeah, trust me, you're not gonna drop this from basically another story onto my shoulder, so we're all right." Like, what do you mean? I was like, my buddy coworker at the time dropped a fucking dining table onto my shoulder from essentially a second story. Do you
Uh,
remember that?
I don't.
You were on the wave on the backside of the line, and I was on the line, like talking to pricing on the other side of the line.
Okay.
And we were setting D side, like the focals.
Mm-hmm.
So they had those like T carts on them.
Yeah.
And you were on the wave reaching across flatbeds that had been laid from the truck
Okay.
to get to the top of the steel
Mm-hmm.
where they had placed this.
Uh-huh.
And something about how you pulled it back over and then it like flipped and just came off the wave. And I spidey sensed, because I don't remember you saying anything, and I don't think they remember you saying anything either. I like spidey sensed, like just kind of flinched, and it just hit me in the shoulder and like rolled off.
And,
You're like,
glanced
you
off.
good? I'm like, yeah, what the fuck was that? And then both of them are going, oh my God, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm fine. It didn't hit my neck, which would have been the worst part. It just like bounced off my shoulder, but I was like, what the fuck was that? It was one of those, it was a massive, like box like this.
Yeah.
That was just like a T cart with everything inside of it. And I was like, warn me next time.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, yeah, do you remember that? No, why would you? You didn't get hit with anything.
Number 6. The Nintendo Switch emulator Yuzu developer Tropic Haze has agreed to pay the Mario Maker $2.4 million in a settlement. As reported by The Verge, in a new joint filing, Tropic Haze will relinquish its domain name to Nintendo of America and delete all of its circumvention tools for the program. The move affects not only Yuzu, but also the Nintendo 3DS, I'm assuming, emulator Citra. The developer of both the emulators, Bunny, announced on Discord that Yuzu and its support of Citra was ending. Nintendo and Tropic Haze are waiting the judge's approval of the permanent injunction. So that's another kill for Nintendo. Paint it on their plane.
Tropic Haze is such a good name.
That is a good name. Sounds like a fucking strand of
It sounds
marijuana.
like a lot of things. That, Monster Energy.
Yeah.
Hemp-induced energy drink. Like, Monster Haze. It's just chocolate rain if you really...
Yeah.
Anyway. Number 7. It was sadly announced that Dragon Ball creator Akira Toriyama had passed away at age 68. While Toriyama stood as one of the giants of the anime and manga industry, largely due to the success of Dragon Ball, as well as lesser-known series like Sandland and Dr. Slump, his contributions to the world of video games were almost as significant and perhaps even more varied. Toriyama contributed monster and character designs to every entry in the fan-favorite Dragon Quest series. He was also the lead artist for titles like Chrono Trigger, Blue Dragon, and the Tobal fighting games. Of course, Dragon Ball Z has also been adapted into near countless arrays of different video games over the years. Dragon Quest XII, the next core entry in the series, is in the works, but it's unclear how Toriyama's death may impact its development. It was wild.
That was. That's another thing. Watching all these greats pass away.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of wild.
Like this one was just like odd.
Yeah. Nuts.
There have been a lot of
tributes,
a lot of the fusion dance, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I believe there was a clip I saw from Xenoverse 2 of a bunch of I'm gonna get this entirely wrong because I don't know Dragon Ball enough. A bunch of Gokus in all like standing near each other, doing essentially the I don't know if it's the same, but the like the energy, giving their energy thing, all just like in an area, almost kind of like remember when Lance Reddick died and every Destiny character showed up in the tower like kneeling around Zavala. It was like that same energy. It was like cool, man. I think what the hell did we do in WoW? I'm going to fucking forget who died for WoW, and we were all in there kneeling to somebody. No, I'm not going to remember. But there was one of those. Who the fuck was it? It's going to bug the shit out of me now that I can't remember who died in WoW. But we were all outside, like, or in outside the citadel of like the thing, and everybody was just like kneeling everywhere.
Mm. It's cool. It's cool when you see like people appreciate, like a lot of people appreciate something like that someone made or created or you know, like whatever the case may be.
I think this was a meme, but I hope it's true that people were saying that all the flags in Mexico were at half mast. Because I don't know if you know, but like the whole something about Dragon Ball is like beloved by Mexicans.
Sure, I mean, I can see that being a thing.
I think the one that was definitely a meme was that all the cartels agreed to a ceasefire, to like a 48-hour ceasefire in honor of it. But I was like, it's just nuts. There's a bunch of soccer guys that do the fusion dance and everything. Like the fusion dance alone is probably one of the most, other than the whole give me your energy, but like the fusion dance for a celebration and tribute thing, I expect to see it a lot in the next month.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, number 8. During a recent Morgan Stanley speaking event, Warner Bros. Discovery gaming boss J.B. Perrette discussed some of the company's strategy for gaming going forward, and it includes more live service, mobile, and free-to-play games. Perrette discussed, Perrette said WBD's recent gaming output has focused on AAA games for console, and that's great when a game like Hogwarts Legacy sells 22 million copies and becomes the best-selling game of the year, but this kind of success is never guaranteed in what Perrette said was a, quote, volatile, end quote, market. He pointed out that one of WBD's latest big games, Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League, was a disappointment for the company. So the plan... Don't try to apply logic to this.
Okay.
Thanks for
stopping me.
You'll just hurt yourself.
Play dumb for this one. You'll be fine.
So the plan going forward, he said, is to help reduce volatility by focusing on core franchises and bringing at least some of them to the mobile and free-to-play space, as well as continuing to invest in live service games that people play and spend money on over a long period of time. He claimed that this will help WBD generate more consistent revenue, going on to tease that WBD had some new mobile free-to-play games coming this year. Quote, rather than just launching a one-and-done console game, how do we develop a game around, for example, a Hogwarts Legacy or Harry Potter that is a live service where people can live and work and build and play in that world on an ongoing basis, end quote. Speaking at the same event, Electronic Arts CEO Andrew Wilson outlined the transformative impact he believes generative AI can have on EA. Over the next 5 years, Wilson hopes that generative AI will make EA's development 30% more efficient, help grow its 700 million strong player base by at least 50%, and lead to players spending 10 to 20% more money on its games. These people are like fucking crazy.
So everything that I said about or even that I guess more that Joel said that I rehashed about people not understanding the climate that they're in.
This, I'm assuming, what is 100% applicable.
Yeah. It like what? Oh, we can't rely on flashes in the pan. So if we just scattershot shit shows like Suicide Squad, Justice League, then clearly we'll find a successful thing.
I love how in the same year they released Hogwarts Legacy, which was the best-selling game of the year. And then
22 million. You beat Call of Duty.
And then they also release Kill the Justice League, which was probably one of the worst flops of the year. But from those two things,
What do you glean out of this information?
your takeaway is that, oh, the AAA title is not a good idea. The live service game is.
Nailed it.
Fucking idiots, bro. But you know what? Good. Go for it. Go for it. Wreck your company. I feel like people are kind of getting to the point where like there's like going to be like
I just saw something nightmarish.
Like a tipping point where there's going to be like a revulsion towards like this type of content, like where you don't own anything.
Yeah. I'm going to just bite my tongue. I don't want to go into that conversation of owning things because I know what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
But technically none of us own anything right now.
Well, yeah, it's like that everywhere. That's the problem.
Right, but I mean like the video game wise specifically.
Yeah, everything's digital.
Not even just digital. It's like the it goes back to the understanding of, or not understanding of, legality of licensing versus ownership.
Yeah.
Technically, when you buy a game, you buy a license of that game. You don't own the game, which is why they can do yada yada yada. And the fact that nothing is just stored on the disc anymore, it's not on the cartridge, it's then you're fucked no matter what.
Yeah.
Either way, how the fuck do you get to that conclusion? Not even just like a backlash, because I think there's not going to be a backlash so much over the fact that you don't own anything, but a backlash over good games.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a backlash over the constant monetization, where it's just like, it's a live service game. I'm not interested.
It'll be backlash from attempted pitfalls. No, that's not the right word. Attempted money grabs. We saw most recently, I can think of with Diablo 4, where they're like, "Hey, we put a new horse in there, and it's $70," and everybody went, "Excuse you? I can buy Pal World and Helldivers 2. Two better games."
Do you remember when I feel like the point when this first happened.
Okay.
Not this first happened, but this idea first happened and there was the massive backlash was the fucking Oblivion horse armor.
Oh yeah. Way back. Oh god, I remember that.
Yeah, I feel like that was the start right there.
That's the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, that was the start, and then it just was all downhill from there.
I think it was that was definitely it for like single player games.
Like
but like EA's creation of Ultimate Team, that sank us.
Yeah,
that opened up the floodgates.
The Oblivion horse armor, like that turned the knob to the door.
Like the whole.
Ultimate Team just was the fucking dude who just fucking kicked the door off the hinges.
We know the whole like when you tap it, this is 100% not how this works. So I'm going to use an analogy that doesn't 100% make sense.
Okay.
But you know how like if you tap a tree for syrup, right?
Yes.
You just leave the stake in and you get essentially like a drip out.
Yep.
But then EA came in and went, what if we put in a 4-inch hole and it just gushed syrup?
I think EA came in and cut the tree down and just decided to liquefy it.
This will become syrup, whether it wants to or not.
Yes, we will.
Yeah,
we'll grind this down and then just squeeze all the liquid out of it.
Because it's like, that's the tip. Then EA opened the floodgates with Ultimate Team. And then everybody tried certain things, and they're like, "Oh, it only works in sports."
Then the Chinese fucking mobile games came in. And
gotchas came in, and then even then, it was like there were still so many people trying to be like, "How do we kind of fit it in? We can DLCs aren't really working. Let's try to do like cosmetics." And then battle passes got invented.
The old battle pass,
and then Fortnite perfected it. And then when everybody saw Fortnite's thing, they went, we can make people charge for, oh my god, we need to make a live service game. And then everybody's been making live service games. So I think it's going to be a mix of the money problem, but also that so many live service games are actually shit as a game. Which is where things like Fortnite as a game is good. It still excels at that. And then it's bonus monetization. But if you don't have a good game, no one's going to want to give you more money for the things you're creating. For the game. That's not good.
Ugh.
Do you know the inflection I'm referencing? That's a fucking niche reference if you remember it.
I don't remember it. There's something like,
I'll do the exact line if you want.
I guess.
Oh God, no, what is it? For content that we can license into Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson films. It's Brennan's bad CEO.
Oh.
When he's complaining as the artist or the CEO of whoever.
It wasn't the Oreo one, was it?
No, that's bereavement Oreos is the real kick out of that one.
Yeah.
I think it's the death of.
We had
It's not the death of Skype. It's the death of one of the not streaming services, but not Blockbuster. Oh, I can't remember who it is.
Oh, Movie Pass.
Movie Pat. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Some content that we can license and into Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson films. So good. Anyway, guess what time it is?
It's the rumor roundup.
I got assaulted by a British man. That was weird.
That was weird.
Matt did an accent.
I didn't intend to.
I can't get you to do an accent when I want you to. Like, well, read this with a French accent. I don't know how to do that.
That wasn't the plan. It just kind of came out that way.
There's never a plan. According to insider Jeff Grubb, Respawn is working on a new Titanfall game, but it won't be a sequel.
Okay. I don't know what that means.
I don't know. Haven't
A
they
prequel?
canceled like 3 other things?
They have. They've canceled multiple Titanfall games too, I think.
Yeah. And Mandalorian, so I guess they might as well use the assets they were just making in that to make Titanfall game.
Yeah, why not?
Weird.
Just to cancel that one too. And then turn it into a fucking battle royale or something.
Oh no, we're just gonna call it Anthem.
Okay. It works.
What if they called it like, what's a synonym to Anthem? Not motto. I don't know. What if they just called it a synonym to Anthem? And just see if anybody gets the reference.
No, people will be like, it's the best game ever.
Gravity Rush 2 Remastered is currently in development for PC and PlayStation 5 and will debut on console this summer, according to some rumors. Assassin's Creed Red won't be completely shifted to a new engine. Rather, it will be part of an upgraded version named Anvil Pipeline. Users can expect features like ray trace global illumination and virtual geometry when you see the eyeballs popping through the skulls of the characters that didn't render.
Or you see the inside of people's mouths.
Oh, man, Unity was a fucking trip. And Assassin's Creed Red is also said to sport overhauled animations, parkour system, dynamic weather, and more. If you fix your parkour system to actually be correct, I'll be impressed.
I might buy the game.
You're going to need to do more than that. Microsoft's and Bethesda's Starfield isn't coming to PlayStation 5 anytime soon, according to journalist Jez Corden. All Adult Swim game titles are likely to be delisted by Warner Brothers Discovery before May, because if Warner Brothers Discovery likes anything, it's fucking up.
So that one's, I think, probably doesn't need to be in the rumor roundup anymore, because as the day progressed, more and more Adult Swim games started to be
confirmed roundup.
Yeah, we're starting to be delisted. So
the next Ghost Recon title is aiming to be released in 2025 to 2026. The game is poised to be a squad-based military tactical shooter, almost Muslim-like in nature.
Milsim.
Milsim. That makes more sense. I thought you misspelled Muslim, and I was really confused what that meant.
That's better.
Almost Milsim-like in nature, that will also take inspiration from some of the leading first-person military games, including the Modern Warfare series, Battlefield, Squad, and Ready or Not. Does anybody even remember Squad?
I don't.
I mean, I do, but like, exactly. Ready or Not is actually a fucking hysterical one to reference.
Mm-hmm.
In the way that they've done 2 open-world games, and Breakpoint was supposed to be kind of Milsim.
Yeah.
But with Watch Dogs. Oh my god, it is. Why did I not put those two things together? All Ubisoft games are the same. No.
Yeah,
The whole thing was that they summoned drones.
You knew
It was
that.
militaristic watchdog.
You knew it the whole time.
I did, but I didn't like consciously. I just went, oh goddamn drone swarms. This isn't entertaining. At no point did I go, it's just fucking watchdogs. God, I hate it here. The dude who leaked the Ghost of Tsushima PC port is also teasing a Bloodborne project, presumably the PC port, or he just wants to crush your dreams.
He just wants to drink your tears.
And I'm going to keep going, honestly, because I feel like I'm on a roll.
All right, go for it.
So guess what time it is?
I mean, there's like 20 of them, so.
Yeah, I'll
Actually,
probably
it's almost 30.
I'll probably get halfway and give up, if I'm being
Okay.
honest. But guess what time it is? We're doing some questionable things.
Always.
Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut is coming to PC on May 16th.
With widescreen support, ultra widescreen support.
The funny thing is that my buddy at work goes, "Did you see that it's coming to PC?" I was like, "Yeah, man. You want to know what I'm not going to play? That, because I already did."
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, and he's like, "Yeah, but it's going to be really good on my Steam Deck." And I was like, "Sure, but I need you to like finish a fucking game before you go get another one. Like, you're still trying to get through Harry Potter. You haven't started Last of Us Part 2. You haven't started or plan on finishing Red Dead Redemption 2.
He hasn't come to
He
terms
hasn't
with the
started
fact that he can't
Cyberpunk.
play games anymore.
No, he's got 2 kids.
I've accepted my fate.
He just built a gaming PC.
I understand the feelings, all right, buddy?
I'm sure you do. And guess what? I shit on both of you for the same reason.
Listen.
At least
Man,
for the most
your
part,
time
if
will come.
something actually like does come out, like if the next Horizon came out or something, I know you will sit down and play it
Yeah.
for the most part.
Yeah.
And I appreciate your faith in me. Thank you.
Your time will come. Don't worry. And then
No,
I'm
no,
gonna
and you know what? And for
I'm
that,
gonna
though-
get every last bit
and
of
for
it
that,
out
though,
when it does.
Thank
I'm gonna be
you.
like, you piece of
that's-
shit. You can't play games no more. What are you?
You know what? That is an attack and a vote of confidence in me, and I appreciate you.
Good.
I don't know how to take a backhanded compliment. Thanks. You won't have time to do anything because you'll be in a relationship with responsibilities. Fuck you, loser.
That's 100% what will happen. How do you like it, bitch?
I'll just be like, oh, I'm so happy. I fucking hate it here. And then grass is greener. Grass is greener will happen, and we'll be in the same boat.
Yep.
Anyway, number 2, Balatro has sold 500,000 copies in 10 days. Pretty good for a roguelike poker game.
Yeah.
Still enjoying it. It's such a good, just like kind of palate cleanser. Just like sit down, do some stuff while I'm doing other things. I can just, my ADHD can kick it in and go off.
Respects your time.
Exactly. Game developer Rocket Science has unveiled a new co-development firm. Rocket? No, not really. That'd be so annoying. A new co-development firm, Atomic Theory. It will provide studios with in-game development and UI UX engineering services. It's almost like they're just naming things based on civilization tech trees.
Yeah.
If you do rocket science, your next logical step is Atomic Theory. Number 4, Eggnut Games has announced that it has shut down. The studio attributed the decision to complications in funding. Eggnut was established in 2017 and released narrative games Tales Noir, Prologue, and Tales Noir. I've never heard of Eggnut.
I have not either, but it's an interesting name.
It really is. What are you thinking, Eggnut? Never mind. There's so many levels I can go to that joke, and I don't want to. Humpty Dumpty Santa. Number 5, Mattel, the toy firm, has... Toy firm?
Toy firm.
That sounds like dark. The toy firm. Mattel.
I mean, okay.
The toy firm.
It could have been worse. Could have been like the adult toy firm. That'd be real weird.
Bop it. Has announced
Twist it.
Flick it.
Jesus.
Has announced that it will self-publish mobile titles. Mattel is currently focusing on mobile titles, but may eventually expand to Roblox and the Unreal Editor for Fortnite. Mattel's brand portfolio includes Hot Wheels, Uno, and Bob the Builder, which, man, mobile Bob the Builder,
Yeah.
sign me the fuck up.
There we go.
Australian studio Taurus has laid off its team and will be on hiatus for the foreseeable future. How can you go on hiatus if you lay off your entire team?
That's how, I guess. You just,
What did you just close?
it's wishful thinking, hopeful.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Number 7, Spearhead Games is ending production of Unforetold Witchstone, which launched on January 4th and is laying off the majority of its staff. Spearhead Games was established in 2011 by former Ubisoft and EA developers, releasing titles such as Tiny Brains, Omnisite, and Stories: The Path of Destinies. That's probably Omsite, actually. The Persona series has sold over 22 million units. Gross.
That's gross.
Outward
It's a lot of time
That's
that
so
people
much
spend
time.
playing those games.
So much time. I would be very curious if they ever could do. You'd have to have like too much knowledge, but if they could ever do a percentage of 22 million copies in the series, how many of those are down to an individual person owning all of the series? Like, how many of that 22 million own all of them?
Yeah, I think
Like,
that's a good point, though, because I feel like if you are a Persona fan,
you're in,
and you have every single one.
right? So is that I don't know how many personas there are. I'm gonna say 7.
Yeah, so 22 million divided by 7 or whatever.
Yeah, but that's if they own all of them.
Yeah.
What if you somehow only bought 3, like Persona 3? You didn't buy 1 or 2, or the ones after.
You just got Persona 3 Reloaded.
Yeah, you're like, yep, I'm in. Whatever.
Actually, I know someone who did that.
Game Pass though.
Maybe.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Number 9, Outward developer 9 Dots Studio has announced its plan to publish third-party games with the launch of 9 Dots Publishing. They also announced Outward 2, as well as a new grid-based roguelike called Lost in Prayer, and the color for dungeon crawler Witherbloom. I bet Lost in Prayer and The Altar have some. Number 10, Temtem developer Crema has announced it will be dropping microtransactions from the game this June, presumably right after they close the game down.
Oh, wrecked.
I'm pretty sure they basically said that we're stopping development and going to be shutting this off.
Oh, okay.
I don't know 100% if I'm right about that, but basically Temtem's going to die here soon.
All right.
Number 11, NetEase released its financial results for 2023 with overall revenue increasing 7.2% to $14.6 billion. The publisher's game segment saw a 9.4% increase due to the success of its mobile titles. That is $14.6 billion in revenue.
Too much. Gross.
City State Entertainment has rebranded to Unchained Entertainment. That is a weird rebranding. Just something about City State Entertainment.
Yeah.
Unchained Entertainment.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
The United States of America. Fuck it, free for all. Like, those are two very different.
Anarchy.
Yeah. Unchained's first title, Final Stand Ragnarok, a co-op PvE game launched via early access on Steam in 2021, and a full release is planned for this year. Helldivers 2 developer Arrowhead Game Studios isn't being purchased by PlayStation. Thank God.
Yeah, there's a whole rumor that was going around. It gained a lot of traction.
Steam has set a new record with over 34 million concurrent users.
Disgusting.
A wave of EA classics have landed on Steam this week. Games like the Populous series, multiple Command & Conquer games, SimCity 3000 of all of the ones that they could have put on there, The Saboteur, and more. Did you ever play Saboteur?
Isn't that?
Do you know what it is?
I have a rough idea.
It's kind of like a... I don't want to say GTA, but it is kind of like a World War whatever French GTA.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. It's actually not that bad.
Oh, okay. I'm taking over. The WoW Classic Cataclysm beta is now live, and players can still sign up to play this closed beta ahead of the full launch later this year.
Guys,
yes,
I need you to understand. 14 years ago, this happened. It's not that serious.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Stop that.
It's new.
Stop. I'm going to attack you. I'm going to come through this microphone.
Final Fantasy VII Remake and the recently released second part of the remake trilogy, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, will stay console exclusive to PlayStation forever.
Do you think there's anybody, speaking of the Persona thing, that I think there 100% are people, but that bought the second part without playing the first part?
Yes.
Why?
I don't know. Do you want to spend 90 hours in a game? Just to spend 90 hours in a game?
Aren't you going to do that no matter which part you buy? So wouldn't you be at 180 at this point?
Yeah, so they're long games, dude.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, why would you buy part 2 and not part 1?
I don't know, man. There's fucking psychopaths in the world.
They need to be studied.
They do.
Put them in a box.
They do need
Not
to be
allowed to
studied.
leave.
I mean, anyone. There's multiple people who play Persona that should be studied.
Well, that's a different discussion. Some of them I don't want to study. Some of them I've smelled at PAX.
Okay. Amazon and Bethesda have debuted the first official trailer for the Fallout TV show, slated to air on Prime Video on April 11th.
Actually, it looks really good.
It looks very good.
I had 2 complaints. I think I told you that.
All 8 episodes of the season will be available right away.
Which is interesting, too.
That is weird.
I'm okay with it. It's just interesting.
I'm fine with it. I just assumed they'd want to like milk it a little.
I figured
bit.
they would do the typical like 3, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1.
Mhm.
Or 2, 1, 1, 1, 1.
Yeah.
But my 2 complaints were it's the same complaint just twice. There are a few shots in the trailer that they either 100% are in the volume
Okay.
and it's obvious,
Okay.
which is the part that I don't like. Because you watch something like Westworld, which was a lot of it shot in the volume towards the later stuff with the future cities, and you can do they did a very good job, I think, of not making you realize you're in the volume.
Yeah.
The same way that with the shot, was it Ahsoka?
Mhm.
And there's a couple shots where you're clearly in the volume, like you did not do enough to make this not think that.
Mhm.
It's the shot where the one vault guy is like carrying the child as like they're like everything is kind of like exploding and dying around them, and they're running. Like if you're watching the screen, they're running this way.
Okay.
And the wall behind them just looks like a wall that there's not. It literally looks like the image comes up and up the wall, and that there's just like something about it looks bland and nothing's happening on the wall. And so there's that one. And there's another one too that's somewhere in there that I kind of go just like, But the characters look good. The Brotherhood of Steel looks good. The only thing for me is that those couple shots, which whatever, that's fine. I'll get over that. I'm hoping the writing is good. That it's Fallout writing.
That's the Westworld people,
right? Which is why I'm surprised that the volume looks the way that it does.
I'll have to rewatch the trailer because I watched it on my phone.
Yeah, I'll show you the shot. I watched it on my phone too, and I can find that exact one. I think there's one other, and then there's a couple where like they're so focused on a shot that I'm like, I bet if you pull out even slightly, it immediately looks empty, which is fine.
You might also be running. I'm wondering too, though, if they got a little tricky with the trailer.
They might have, where
they edited things so you couldn't see it.
Either that, or they're also showing you like somebody because if they actually showed like that scene of the guy running is actually a recording that the character is watching, and then you go, okay, that makes a lot more sense. That actually wouldn't look bad if they were like looking at a TV record, like a security cam footage of that.
Yeah, like a Fallout screen, which they all look distorted. Yeah.
Then I'd be like, okay. Or they're watching was it Mr. Handy? I can't remember what the name of the robot is. There's different names for all the robots, but I think by default it was Mr. Handy. Was the model name of it. Not the one that they actually show in the trailer, but like if it was a camera from one of those, like having watched it happen and they got like the feedback or something, then yeah, there's ways that they could explain it away. But if it's just a normal shot, then I'm like,
yeah.
But yeah, Vault looked good. The world looked good. Like
it looks good. It looks better than I expected it to.
Agreed. 100% agreed.
Russian state-sponsored hackers have managed to access some of Microsoft's source code repositories and internal systems.
Can you guys not? That's all. Just
please stop. Capcom has made a Dragon's Dogma 2 character creator tool available ahead of the game's release this month.
It's got a butt slider.
Nice.
Get that dump truck on your character.
Owen Deary, who develops games as one-man studio Fireface, has decided to make his game, Small Radios, Big Televisions, free to download on his website after Warner Bros. Discovery informed him that they were retiring his game from sale. He said, fuck you. I'm
real quick, fuck you then. I got this. What was that? What was the name of it again?
The game?
Yes.
Small Radios, Big Televisions.
Okay.
WWE 2K24 has censored archival footage of Vince McMahon during certain sections of his showcase mode, probably because he's a subject of a sexual assault and trafficking lawsuit.
It's really weird when he's doing the pelvic thrust in the middle of the ring. You know what I mean?
Dude, going back, I've seen some things have popped up recently, videos, obviously.
Oh, I'm sure.
From old, like, whatever, Monday Night Raw or whatever,
Yeah,
SmackDown, whatever
yeah.
it is. And I'm just like,
Attitude Era events and
Jesus
there's a
Christ.
lot
Like,
of
how
stuff
did this
back-
stuff
yeah.
how did they get away with this?
there's a lot back from like Attitude Era time, or even slightly after Attitude Era.
Mm-hmm.
But like you watch it now and you're like, how the fuck did you get away with that?
Yeah. Footage from Free Radical's canceled Time Splitters game has been shared online by the team's head of art.
What a relic.
Ubisoft's second $70 game, Skull and Bones, because it got delayed, so it's second. It's not the first. Has Avatar was first. Has seen its price reduced significantly less than 3 weeks after its release.
Free? Is the price free?
It's now $45 at most retailers.
Well, they're starting to learn that maybe it's not a quadruple A game, Yves Guillemot.
Fucking idiot, dude. Microsoft is launching a special edition SpongeBob SquarePants Xbox Series X console bundle for $700.
I'm ready. I wish they also just released the wrap. They'd make money. Remember how they were doing the console wraps?
Yeah.
If they just did that, they'd make money.
Yep.
You don't
Agreed.
need to launch a $700 console. Just release the wrap for $50 and let people go nuts.
Yeah. Deadline reports that studio New Regency is developing an adaptation of the Ubisoft property Watch Dogs.
Yeah, with what's her name is the main actor linked or actress linked to it.
Yep.
Um,
And then finally, Twilight is getting an anime.
fuck, who cares? God, who cares about that last line? Why is that even in there? That
Because
angered me.
just because of the ridiculousness.
I
of
was
it.
ready to go into the Watch Dogs discussion of like which game do you
Yep,
think
and
they
then
do?
I just blew up your spot.
Yeah. Now I'm just mad. Now I don't want to even go.
I don't know. I mean, I still think the first Watch Dogs is the best Watch Dogs.
I agree. I think they actually go in order of best to worst.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Best. Second best. Worst.
Mm-hmm.
Which is sad when you really think about it. You started off with the best you could have done and you couldn't get better.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think I ever finished the last one.
The UK one?
I don't think I finished a Ubisoft game in a very long time.
That might be true. The last one you probably finished was Immortals Phoenix Rising.
I didn't finish that.
You didn't finish that?
No.
Okay, never mind then.
I didn't
Black
finish
Flag.
that.
Was it Black Flag?
I finished Black Flag.
Valhalla?
What's that?
Valhalla then.
I finished Valhalla. That probably was
That
the
probably
last
was
one.
the last one.
Yeah.
Because
But
I also couldn't tell you what one you've played since then.
I mean, any of the Far Cries I tried and didn't finish. If there was any that came out since then. 6, I think. Or 5. What was the last one that came out? 5?
6. 6 was Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah, that one.
5 was what you and I played together on the PC a little bit.
Yeah. 6 I definitely did not finish.
Yeah, I finished it begrudgingly.
Haven't played, yeah.
Yeah.
Ubisoft, you fucks.
Even if they at least kind of keep the theme of the first one, they can go a little bit between like 1 and 2, and I think they'd be okay.
I'd take a good Ghost Recon game.
Yeah,
well, we had a lot of fun with Ghost Recon when they were.
Wildlands was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Breakpoint was not.
I agree.
So figure your shit out.
Please do it.
God, Wildlands. I remember what was it? I think I didn't play for a day and you did. And you had purposely looked up where guns were and flew helicopters into where you needed to land, get the gun, and then flew back out. So we had a perfect kit to go like stealth kill through missions.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Because we needed to get things with silencers and shit on.
Yeah, it was starting to get nuts. It was a fun time. All right. Anyway, 7 days. Anything?
No, not really. Other than I did the whole Harry Potter gelato. That was the excitement. Saw the Hobby Town
So just
shop.
to be clear about Harry Potter gelato,
Yes,
is that a thing, or was it just Harry Potter time at the gelato store?
they made Harry Potter themed gelatos.
So what does that mean? Like, what flavor did you have?
I haven't had any of them yet, but I can tell you what they are real quick here.
Okay, because I'm worried it's going to be something like, what's the fucking Jelly Belly company that's essentially in Harry Potter?
Uh,
The
I know what you're
disgusting
talking about, but
beans
I
one.
can't- Yeah.
I'm sure there's going to be like a butter beer.
Yep.
Because why wouldn't there be?
Butterbeer, which is butterscotch gelato with fluff.
That, I mean, I'm not a butterscotch fan, so I can't really talk on that. So
Polyjuice potion.
okay,
Milk chocolate gelato with cookie dough and brownies. That's the one I got.
I agree. Good pick.
Samantha got butterscotch, and then she also got. I think the other one she got was Trelawney's tea leaves, which is Earl Grey and lavender.
Oh man, that could be terribly strong.
Haven't had it.
Lavender is one of those ones where like you don't need much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm surprised about though? You saying Polyjuice Potion and then saying what it is. The flavor sounds really good, but for some reason in my head, Polyjuice Potion should have been cherry
Yeah,
or strawberry or a red one.
Yeah.
And then what's the name of the screaming plants?
I don't remember.
Mandrakes.
Yes.
That should have been the flavor that is the chocolate with cookie dough and everything.
Well, we got a couple more.
Okay, all right.
Fizzing Whizbees.
No, I love that name. That's a good name.
Creamy lemon lime gelato with Pop Rocks.
God, they didn't really have to put creamy in there. It just
Moist and creamy.
Oh, you want some creamy gelato? I put some Pop Rocks in it.
Then there's ginger newt.
That's also such a contradiction. Like if you're like, oh, this nice creamy texture,
Yeah. With Pop Rocks, yeah.
Like pudding with Pop Rocks. Who does that?
Psychos.
Sorry, what was the last one?
Ginger newt.
Okay.
Ginger gelato with chocolate covered ginger snaps and candy ginger.
That's a lot of ginger.
Ginger.
That might as well just be ginger.
Yep. Florian's Delight. Chocolate raspberry gelato and chopped hazelnuts.
Okay. That makes
Crystallized pineapple. Pineapple sorbet. And pineapple bits and sugar crystals. And then finally, a
I
draught.
should have put coconut in that one.
Draught of the Living
It would have
Death.
just been a pina colada gelato. That's all it would have turned into.
Yeah.
Drop of death.
Draught of the Living Death.
Oh, drought of the living.
Creamy black currant plus chocolate bits. That one does contain some kind of coconut.
I mean, listen, I'll die.
Death, please.
Yeah, I mean, some of those sound definitely interesting. So,
What else happened this week?
you looked at a Warhammer store.
I did. We did stop at this really dope.
What made you go in there? Because that.
Samantha Amy had mentioned that she's like, oh, there's this like shop that has like stuff and like toys and stuff. She said it looked like a small toy shop.
I mean, technically, she's not wrong.
So we were like, oh, we'll go in there and check it out. And then I was like, this is not what I would characterize as a toy shop.
Yeah, it's
Because
not like it's a Village Toy Shop.
Yes, it was like you saw the stuff. It was like
Right.
big sections of Warhammer paint, tons of paint.
It's a mini store.
It is, and then they had RC. Well, there was stuff I didn't show you guys. They had like all the like the high end powered or gas powered RC cars and stuff.
Oh, okay.
They had all that stuff. They had all the train
That's a
stuff.
weird crossover. Never mind. That's weirder now.
They
You've
had,
described 3 pieces of a pie chart that I would never put in the same room.
they had all the
They had
toy
trains. When are we going?
They had all the train stuff. They had all the old school train stuff, like the vacuum forming plastic and shit.
Okay, so we're just gonna go make a train then, right? Like this is what we're gonna do now.
They had models, a shit ton of models, like airplanes, tanks, cars, like all the models,
put around
but
your
like the
train-
good Japanese ones.
To put around your train set.
Sure, or just if you're into modeling.
Yeah, or you remake Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
With trains.
Exactly. And then they had an absolutely massive selection of Gunpla, and I don't understand why.
I saw that one.
I was like, what?
Or that,
Why'd you have so much?
Because I saw that shot and went, oh no.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Because I was like, were there the highest rated ones too?
They had the fucking giant ones that are like
the rating number is. But
like the
not
I can't remember. There's like master grade, real grade, high grade.
That's nuts. That's just like, all right. So we want to sell small things and like craftable things.
Yeah.
D&D figures. Okay. What else kind of goes with those? Warhammer. Those like go together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know. Nerds. They like Gunpla. We'll do that. That makes sense. And then somebody walked in and went, all right. Do you guys have like models that I could use? You know what? We'll order you some. We'll get some tanks, some planes and stuff. Okay, cool. What, trains? Yeah. Yeah, sure. We'll add those in too. You guys got any gas-powered RC cars? Why the fuck are you in here looking for those? But I'll get you some.
I mean, that's kind of what it feels like.
It was the first 6 customers they had.
Yeah.
And each one of them wanted one of those things, and they went, we'll get you all those things.
And then like half the store was like a separate walled off area that had the classic, banquet tables set up for
play areas.
Yeah.
But
that's
where you were saying that they were playing like actual.
And I like ducked my head in. Part of it looked like it was set up. I didn't see it because it was kind of like blocked off, but it looked like they had set it up to like build the sets.
Oh, okay, yeah. So they had like environmental build areas.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, this is wild. And we went in, we pulled the dick move. We showed up at 5:55 when they closed at 6.
Oh.
And I walked in and I was like, we just want to do a quick lap. And he's like, and the guy was really nice. He's like, no, take your time. He's like, if you go quick, you won't see everything. And we were like, okay.
You just look at him and go, sir, I've done retail before. Do not be nice to me about this.
Yeah.
I'm going to sprint through here.
Well, he said that. And I was like, oh, well, he's just saying that to be nice. And then I started walking through it and I was like, oh, I think he's serious.
Yeah.
Because it's just like every nook and cranny, there's like this ridiculous.
Like, then there's the other part of me that goes, did the other two just leave and leave you there? Once they realized it wasn't what they thought it was?
No, well, it was just Samantha and myself. So she walked around.
Oh, I thought Amy was with you.
No,
she just mentioned it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, like she looked around at everything as well. So we were in there probably for 10, 15 minutes.
And, okay. That's okay.
And looked at everything. And then I talked to the guy for a hot second and then we left.
Did you, my first question to you. Why?
Kind of. It was like he saw me like taking photos. Like I was, because I sent you guys a few Snapchats. So I was like, I was like, yeah. That was kind of my thing. I was like, I would not have expected this here. Yeah. And he's like, well, he's pretty popular, like he's. I guess in retrospect, that was probably kind of a rude way to put it because I'm just like, what is this?
I mean, it probably is, but it also isn't. Like,
yeah.
Like there's got to be some type of thing where at least the merging of all of them doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
If it was just D&D and Warhammer and Gunpla and you said that, then you'd probably be being like, then it would be a little bit more rude. But like once you throw in gas-powered RC cars and trains and other models, you're kind of like, okay, you started skipping outside of the Venn diagram. What's going on over here?
It's even weirder because when you walk in, you're immediately met with like a lot of like cheap toys, like the cheap goofy toys that like you'd find at like a shitty gift shop or something.
The ones that when the kid walks in with the parent, they could break and it won't feel anything.
Yeah.
But then as the parent gets further and realizes, we can't stay in here.
Yeah, so like I was like, well, okay, I immediately was turned off and I was like, oh, it's just going to be a bunch of shit. And then I saw the back wall and it was all RC stuff. And I'm like, that's weird. Because there's all like the really nice RC stuff, like all this like Traxxas brand.
Was
stuff.
It almost like a responsibility meter?
Kind of.
Like,
because
we don't trust you with this stuff, so we don't care.
Yeah. And then like and then I saw like the little Warhammer thing on the side and I was like, that's a lot of paint. And then I got further in and I got to the aisle that had all the other minifigures in it and all the other paint. And I was like, what the fuck is this place? And then I got to the next aisle and it was all of like the Japanese modeling tools with all like the sanding sticks, the nice nippers and everything. And I was like, where am I right now? Like, so it was a very interesting evolution.
These
of
guys are
like,
so nice.
Yeah. So
my own nippers. Was all the paint Citadel?
There was Citadel, and then they also had what the hell is that company?
The other one. I think there's really only made 2.
There's Citadel, and there's another one, but then they had the modeling paints as well, which are one of the Japanese companies.
Yep.
So they had a pretty crazy selection of stuff.
They
had the airbrush paint. They had airbrush paint there.
Oh, okay.
And they had all the airbrush tools. And
I never would have thought to go there.
You're telling me, dude.
Well, I don't drive down that way ever because unless I'm going to see somebody over there, there's no reason for me to go. Like that town doesn't have. I'm not going to that Dunkin' or that gas station all the way out there. I'm not. If I was going to go to that gas station, I would have hit the Stewart's on the way there and stopped.
I mean, it kind of makes sense because Clinton has more money.
It's bougie.
Yeah, than a lot of other towns. So
Clinton and Hartford are bougie. You could say it.
In that sense, it makes sense, but I wasn't expecting it.
It's one of those where like, what's going on at the college? You know what I mean?
Like,
is Hamilton College just Warhammer Central? Like
their selection of like hobby stuff is better than the. I haven't gone to every one of the shops in Syracuse, but a couple of the shops like that are easily accessible at the mall or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Better than those.
Yeah, that are closer to catch-alls instead of curators.
Yeah. This one felt like a catch-all, but it had like all of the stuff that you would want.
It had the catch-all of somebody that knew what they were doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of the catch-all of we're just an employee that we liked this one thing, so we do this one thing really well, and then somebody asked if we had this, so we started carrying it.
Exactly. Like I was like looking there and I was like, if I ever start doing models again, man, I'm fucking coming here because like they have like everything you'd need.
Right, and I'm curious, like that's why I have the Warhammer guys behind me because I'm gonna paint these 3 guys eventually and just be like, all right, cool. And then like if I find that I enjoy it or whatever, I'm gonna keep going and do other things. But I find that with like some card shops, like there's no true local card shop around here anymore. Actually, I think there's maybe 1 or 2, but it's like, yeah, they're not what I would run a card shop as, which is a very different way than I think a lot of people are like, we're going to run a card shop like it's a booth at a card show. And it's like, no, you need to do this differently. And I know there's a few places now that hold like Magic tournaments and stuff, but it's not the same. Like there's a place over in Yorkville that does it. It's like a store underneath. It's like one of those split levels, and it's in the back.
Okay.
I don't remember what the name of it is, but it's over there.
That's not one that I've been to, but I don't generally go to.
But we've been in there, but it's so small. It's not bigger than the floor print of this house. It's like probably half that in terms of like seating area. Like we walked in there one day because Kenny and I were looking for Hero Clicks.
Yeah,
and it said that they had them. So we walked in and they're like, "Oh no, we don't have those," and we're like,
what the fuck?
Why does it say whatever? Fine. But they had like 4 foldable, the 6-foot foldable tables out, and people just sitting there like playing cards. It was so compact that you had to walk from inside the door. There was a folding table on each side, so you had to walk directly in the middle of those, and then in between, they split them to make an aisle in between the 4, and then you walked this way, and then the counter was just like right there, and they were doing like a Magic tournament or something. It fucking reeked. I was like, Jesus Christ, you all need a shower. This is disgusting. And of course, you walk into some stores like that. You walked in 5 minutes before close, but like if you walk into some stores like that and there's people in there, you get the, what are you? Who are you? We've never seen you here before, huh? Yeah. And you're like, oh, fuck off, dude. I think every person in there was just staring at him and I, who do not look like them.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing here? Yeah. You're not a nerd. Which is the same look we've gotten at PAX's.
Oh, yeah.
Which is hysterical. But either way, that's neither here nor there. That's a different story.
So what have you been up to? Anything same?
Literally the same things.
Yeah.
And by the same things, I mean nothing the same thing that you're doing, but all the same things that I normally do, which is nothing.
Yeah, that's fair.
Play volleyball, lounge, play like a dragon, play some Helldivers, play some Balatro. Just dabbling everywhere.
Yeah.
Sleep.
Sleeping.
I am at the point where it's like when my weekends come around, that is when I have to game because so much can sometimes be I come home, do whatever, and then I just kind of I'll like either get to the computer or get to the PlayStation, and I'll be like, I don't really feel like it.
Yeah.
And if I don't feel like it, then it's so hard to keep playing it.
That's a big problem for me. Like I have time at the end of the night, a couple hours at least, where I could do something, but I'm just usually so exhausted that I'm like, I'm gonna put something on the TV and I'm just gonna zone out.
And that's where so much it is with like playing with the friends, where it's like if somebody pings me and says like, "Yo, do you want to play WoW? Do you want to do Helldivers? Do you want to play League? Do you want to do something?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm down," because that will give me enough energy and communication and everything to like keep me engaged and going. But if it's just like, "Hey, do I want to sit down and watch Yakuza movies?" I'm like, I love the game, but no, not really. Oh, do you want to play solo Helldivers? No. You want to play WoW alone? No. You want to watch YouTube videos that you've already seen 700 times and just start memorizing random more fucking encyclopedic knowledge of things? Yeah. I'm going to do my comfort food. I'm going to take a nap. Fuck, I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
Now it's going to be I come home, do those same things and work out, but
well, that'll give you more energy.
It'll give me more energy and kill me.
Yeah.
It'll be workout, shower, or, workout, eat, shower, or eat, workout, shower, whatever order I decide to do it in. And then be like, man, I got about enough energy for about 30 minutes here before I fall asleep in this chair. So yeah, it'll be a trip, but got to do it. Got to get better. Must be a disciplined boy.
Gotta be a better human being, theoretically.
All right, but anyway, we'll see you guys in 7 days. Goodbye, toodaloo.